Kick him in, okay? He's got to put some cans on. You don't need him. We're not taking calls. Francesa's not calling in, so don't worry. Hold on.
Now joining us, superstar agent Mark Lepselter here on the Peerless Boilers set on Radio Row. Mark, how are you this evening?
Good, pal. How are you doing?
I'm doing great myself.
Child prodigy.
Well, let's look at these fists. They
Yeah,
would have done some damage on Francesa's face.
Yeah. No comment.
Well, you're like Jerry Maguire here on your cell phone every second.
Yeah, it's been a good couple days. But I tell you what, I've been very happy. Indianapolis, it really has turned out to be a great city for the Super Bowl. It's a walking city, which is big as long as you have a hotel within the downtown area. Very easy to navigate. Weather's been nice. Good restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been, this is a nice setup here at the media center, et cetera.
Let's say if the weather wasn't nice, because last year Dallas was a train wreck because everything was spread out so far away, and they had they had no plows to get off all the snow, off all the streets and everything. If the weather was bad here, do you think people are still giving it positive reviews?
Listen, I mean, it is what it is as far as these cities are going to get these Super Bowls, these bad weather cities. Listen, we don't know what 2 years from now New York could be a mess, right? So the weather, no one has any control over. But is the city that hosts the Super Bowl prepared? And this city was prepared. I liken it quite a bit to New Orleans. It just looks prettier during the day. New Orleans, you don't want to see during the day.
Well, I want to get to some of your clients. Let's go to Tiki Barber. He was supposed to come into the NFL this year. He was hoping to. How disappointed were you that Tiki wasn't able to get a contract?
It's really not so much you're disappointed you didn't get the opportunity, but it was a tough year for veterans, especially ones who had been on the sidelines for 4 years. It's a tough year to be an NFL veteran with the lockout and teams not having any off season. Unfortunately, what was a blessing at first for him to be able to get in shape and get his strength back with his trainer turned out to be a curse once it got into June and July. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Were you expecting Tiki to get a contract? Did you think that he was going to be able to get one from a team in this year in the NFL?
I think Tiki would have been better than 3/4 of the running backs in the league this year.
Really?
Yes.
It's interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think Tiki was going to be able to be productive coming back, but he's in enough shape right now to be ready to go.
Yeah, well, it's yesterday's news for us now, but do I think that he would have been a productive player if he had been given the opportunity? The answer is absolutely yes.
Were the Giants at all interested whatsoever?
No.
How much of effect do you think that was with what he said when he was on NBC and all that stuff? How much of effect do you think that was in Tiki Barber being picked up this year in the NFL?
It's a fair question. Could have, all things are possible, but it was, there was teams out there that we thought, would have interest. It didn't work out. And again, I got 50 other clients, so it's that was just one story here, and we've moved on.
What's Tiki up to now? What's he doing right now?
He's doing some TV work, just doing some private business work, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, let's now go to another one of your clients, Rodney Harrison. He'll be doing the game live on NBC. By the way, do you have any clients playing in the game coming up this Sunday?
Tracy White's with the New England Patriots.
Oh, yeah, number 58, of course.
Yep.
Hopefully he has a better time.
Guy's unbelievable. He's like savant.
Hopefully he plays a little better this time going up against the tight end.
Well,
because he made me very upset being the Patriot fan that I am, seeing Jake Ballard get into the end zone.
It happens. Guys get beat, but Tracy's had a nice career for himself, and he'll be playing. But Rodney's, excited about NBC doing a game. It's been a busy week for him here with all the media responsibilities, and he was a part of NBC's coverage in 2008 as a guest, so to say. And this is really his first true Super Bowl as a broadcaster, so it's cool.
Now, I heard Rodney on the radio with one of the stations, I believe it was WEEI, and he was saying that he still has trauma from that David Tyree catch. Is that true?
I don't know if he has. No, I don't know if he has trauma. I mean, it was funny, man. We saw David today at the Hilton, and I'm looking there, and I was with Ty Laws, another one of my clients, and we were all hanging, and that's NFL history right there. I said to Rodney when both teams got in, I said, dude, you will see yourself draped on Tyree about 1 million times in the next 2 weeks, and it's probably been close to that. But listen, he played 15 years, played in 4 Super Bowls, got 2 rings. I can tell you right now, it has zero effect on his life. And Tyree and I were chatting about that. He said, hey, some things were meant to be, and that catch was meant to be.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty good for you because you could have Rodney Harrison sit down at an autograph signing with David Tyree, just like Bill Buckner and Mookie Wilson has done, and you make a nice profit off of it.
That's a good thing. Money is always welcome.
Well, let's go to Ty Law real quick. One of the best games I've ever seen him play was that Indianapolis Colts game where he picked off Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yep.
Were you in the building that day?
I was at several because David Patton was a client at the time, and I can't recall if I was in the building for that one. I was at a lot of Patriot games over the course of their run from 01 to 04. Dave moved on in 05, 06, but I was at a lot of them. And Ty, I think both guys are, they're certainly in the conversation in the future for the Hall of Fame.
We're talking to Mark Lepselter, and David Patton was on those Patriots Super Bowl teams.
Won 3 rings.
And it was just incredible today. I'm thinking about this. Montana had Jerry Rice.
Yep.
But when Tom Brady won Super Bowls, it was with Deion Branch, David Patton, David Givens.
And Troy Brown.
And
hey,
Troy
listen,
Brown.
don't forget about Troy Brown. Let me tell you something. The Patriots run that started in 01, David Patton and Troy Brown were the starting receivers.
Yeah.
And I mean that with all due respect to those guys. And what's made this Patriot team such interchangeable parts, and it's a system team, because Deion went to Seattle, it didn't do a lot, came back. Yeah, and has been productive again. Givens, guys have come and gone. But remarkable, what I think is understated because they haven't won since 04, but you really look at this 11-season stretch, it's remarkable what the Patriots have done. And if they can get it done on Sunday, I think it stamps a few different things. I was saying yesterday to somebody that for Brady, it's almost like, remember with Jeter, hadn't won since 01, then goes and wins in 09. And, for Brady, hasn't won since 04. I liken it a little bit. But this stretch of 11 years in the NFL, which is such a league of attrition, and you look at how many crappy teams there are in the NFL right now, horribly run teams, management doesn't know what they're doing, coaching staff. It's really the epitome of stability, what Mr. Kraft and Belichick have done there.
And you look at Bob Kraft, incredible owner. It's an incredible story this year. His wife died, and then they dedicate the season to Meyer Kraft, and now they're in the Super Bowl, especially with that secondary.
Yeah. Yep.
John Mara, he also helped save football this year. You look at Kraft and John Mara; those two guys are really the top 2 owners in the game right now.
Listen, you look at I don't think there's any question. The Giants have always been a standard bearer in the league. What the Giants have done here over these last few years. And the Giants, listen, this is a consistent franchise, solid franchise. But you're right, they were very instrumental. Both owners were very instrumental. And there were others, in fairness. But as far as what these guys did over the summer, I think they were as much out there as any two.
Are the players that you have, that you represent, like Tracy White, is he happy with what they accomplished during the lockout? Or does he like the deal that was put in place?
I wouldn't really be able to speak to that. All I can tell you this is where I scratch my head and look at the NBA lockout and say I don't have any clue what they accomplished. I can tell you that the NFL, here's the difference between the NFL and the NBA. The NFL is run by the owners. The NBA is a player-run league, and that's been the problem in the NBA, and it will continue to be the problem.
No doubt about it.
You like that, Gelb?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
As we're talking to Mark Lepselter.
I'm looking away.
And Mark, I want to ask you this. You had Lawrence Taylor. We obviously know the whole situation that happened with him. I'm not going to get into that.
No, we aren't.
But you, I don't want to get punched in the face. But you look at Tiger Woods, what's happened with him. You helped rejuvenated Lawrence Taylor's career. Now it's obviously completely different because Lawrence Taylor didn't have the opportunity to go back and play. If you were representing Tiger Woods, how would you help rejuvenate his career?
Well, here's the bottom line. And you look at a guy, when you have the platform, which, listen, whatever went on with Tiger, let me tell you something. There's a lot of hypocrites in this world. And if Tiger Woods had an issue, a personal issue, I could care less. And I've got my opinions on the hypocrisy of this world, so I'm not going to get into that. So I could care less what Tiger did. Tiger has the platform, and winning a tournament 2 months ago, as much as he struggled the past couple of years, winning a tournament, that gives you a platform to make people forget. Lawrence Taylor, Tiki Bar, if you have the platform, and the Sundays were the platform, trust me, the fans could care less. Can you get the job done on Sunday afternoons? What's gone on with certain guys, it is what it is. If they had the platform, trust me, the people wouldn't be that concerned with certain things that have gone on or wouldn't dwell on it as long.
two more right before we let you go. Rob Gronkowski has been a big story about this Super Bowl. I believe he's going to play. I think his father blew it a little bit out of proportion, and if anyone knows Bill Belichick, it's really he doesn't give a lot of information about those injury reports. If, let's say, Rob Gronkowski was your client, when players are injured, are you in communication with them constantly? Yeah. And does that agent know if that player is going to play come Sunday?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I would think his agent absolutely knows if he's going to play. I did speak to somebody today who said it. Again, I'm just telling you what I was told, that the injury is worse than it is a pretty tough injury. That's not a fun injury. Talking to Ty earlier, he said, and he wasn't the person who said that the injury is worse than it appears. He said it just boils down to pain threshold, how much you can deal with, because a high ankle sprain is not a fun injury to deal with. And, so that severely hampers the Patriots.
Yeah, big-time news right there about Rob Gronkowski. Prediction for this upcoming game. Who wins and why?
I think the Giants are going to dismantle him, I think, physically on both sides of the line. In the NFL, it's very simple. If you can protect your quarterback and you can get after the other team's quarterback with your 4-down linemen not having to bring linebackers, you will make the other team's life miserable. And the Giants made Brady's life miserable. In 07, it's a different time. They will beat him up, I believe, again. And when you have guys flying around your head and your knees and your ankles, that's not fun to deal with as a quarterback. And I think the Giants will be able to run the ball. The only shot the Patriots have is if Belichick takes a book out of what he and Parcells did in 90 against the Bills and just plays keep away. And I say that from the standpoint of the Giants will put points up against the Patriots defense. The Patriots defense is not very good. If they can just – I don't know how they'll be able to play ball control with the fact that they don't run the ball well.
Here's the one thing, just to disagree slightly with your point with the defensive line.
You're not allowed to disagree with me.
I'm allowed to disagree with you. Leppy, I'll go 1-2 right there with you. But just right here, the Patriots' offensive line is very good. Green Bay's offensive line wasn't great. They had a weak schedule this year. The offensive line from last week wasn't that great either.
Yeah.
This Patriots' offensive line is very good.
I'm not sure physically. The Giants,
I think they can contain them. I don't think they'll stop them.
They're not going to stop them, and I just think the Giants will wear them down. I think midway through the third quarter it starts to get ugly. I think the Giants will take them apart. That's my opinion. I just don't see the Patriots matching up against them. I think the Giants have their number. I think they have had their number the last few years, and I think they have their number.
So in 5 years, what are we looking at? 8-10% on the contract for you?
Well, I like your father, so we'll work it out. Your old man.
Very rare.
He's
You're
a
probably
good guy.
The only person here that likes my father.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but we'll work something out. You know what I mean? I've heard a lot about you, and you do a real nice job, and I've enjoyed our time here this afternoon.
Mark, thanks so much.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
it.
You
Mark
got it, dude.
Lepselter live from Radio Row. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.